they brought back the song Kiss Me, which, I mean, if they didn't put that in there, what were they doing? Kiss me beneath milky twilight. It's the most iconic song because of She's All That, so I'm glad that they brought that back in. Hey, it's Kristen, and today we're talking about the new Netflix movie, He's All That. It stars Addison in her acting debut, Tanner Buchanan, Madison Pettis. This is a modern retelling of the iconic 90s film, She's All That. It tells the story of a girl named Paget who takes on the challenge to turn the school's least popular guy into prom king, attempting to avenge herself after a humiliating fallout with her boyfriend. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on this one. So this film was directed by Mark Waters, the director behind Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, and it's written by R. Lee Fleming Jr., who wrote the original She's All That. And I gotta say that I also love that Rachael Leigh Cook and Matthew Lillard from the original film came back for this one. They wanted to kind of give their seal of approval and be like, yeah, let's make a new story for a new generation. I also did go back and rewatch She's All That in preparation for this review, and I gotta say there were some little moments that I thought that they paid tribute to the original film, which I enjoyed. Matthew Lillard had a big dance scene in the original movie. He has a little bit of moves that he shows off in this sequel. Lainey's mom was an artist who did photography, and the character of Tanner that we're following is a photographer. There's a lot of random dancing that goes on in both movies. They talk about the voting for prom king or queen being like the closest it's been in history. They kept some of those traditions, and of course, I mean, the biggest of all is that they brought back the song Kiss Me, which, I mean, if they didn't put that in there, what were they doing? It's the most iconic song because of She's All That, so I'm glad that they brought that back in. Some things that are a little bit different, though, is that Rachael Leigh Cook is not playing Lainey Boggs. She's playing Paget's mom, and Matthew Lillard is not playing Brock Hudson. He is playing, like, the school principal. But I did a bunch of interviews with the cast, which I will leave links to here, and I will say that they did share what they think Brock and Lainey are doing now, which I thought was really funny. But getting into the actual review itself, I have to say I was a little bit underwhelmed by this version of He's All That. I think the biggest issue for me was that it felt a bit fake at times. There's also a lot of product placement in this, which I thought was a little bit overwhelming. You're seeing core water bottles and Pizza Hut and all this stuff that I thought was just a little bit too on the nose. I didn't really believe these characters. I did not like that Tanner's character was clearly wearing like a wig. I felt like it took away from that like authenticity of him being, you know, an outsider, a little bit different. And when they got to the makeover reveal, I felt like it was anticlimactic because it lost that authenticity. Back in the 90s, they would have gotten a guy like, you know, Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You or something like that, where, you know, the guy really feels edgy and like raw, and I think that it was missing that. I also felt like there was no real journey or dimension for these characters. You know, the character of Paget, yes, she wants to use her influencer status to like make money to help her mom to go to college. She's a nice girl and maybe is a little bit misguided at times when it comes to, you know, this bet to make over this guy, but she's never a mean person. And I wish that there had been a little bit more bite to her at the beginning of this film so that you really see that transition and that transformation in her when she does start to have feelings for Cameron. When it came to Addison, you know, this is her first role, and I thought that she did an okay job. I think that really it was the fact that her character didn't have a real journey to go on that kind of limited her potential. But, you know, I think she was likable. I think that she did a fine job. I just wish that there was a bit more going on with her character. They definitely tried to tap into the actors' skill sets. You know, they definitely focused on that social media aspect for Paget, the dancing, the singing, which is something that Addison is known for. And, you know, even for Cameron, you know, he has a whole fight sequence, which, I mean, Tanner is known for being in Cobra Kai. So they definitely tried to highlight the skills that they have in this film. I will say, though, I thought it was very refreshing to see Madison Pettis and Peyton Meyer, who, you know, have been in a lot of Disney projects, who are very often known for playing very nice characters, being the ones that are playing sort of the jerks or the villains or sort of the bad guys of this movie. I thought that was very exciting to see them in a different sort of role. I did enjoy that we got to see a romance blossom between two queer women of color, which I think is something that, you know, we wouldn't have seen back in the 90s, so I appreciated them telling that story. By the end of this movie, we do end on a happy ending, but I thought that the overall bet seemed very immature, very shallow. I think when it comes down to it, He's All That had potential. I am happy that the original stars of the first movie, wanted to come back and give their support, and they had so much fun working together on this, but I don't think that it really hit the mark. I think that it didn't feel authentic. It felt like they were trying a bit too hard to kind of capture, those teen movies of the 90s. I think if you're a fan of these actors, you might have fun with it, but I think that they could have just taken this journey a little bit further, given us like maybe a mean Paget that then kind of understands that she needs to change, or just given us more of a realistic Cameron that, you believe him. I just didn't really believe the actors in these roles, and I'm not sure if it was necessarily the actors themselves or more the script just didn't really work for 2021. If you guys like this one, you can check out more of my reviews right over here, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.